Reese, thank you. Well, welcome to Williams-Brice. Yes, Coach Holtz is quite clear on where he stands in this ball game. As we count down the kickoff, guys, break it down for me. Both quarterbacks would like a little bit of help from the running game, but maybe they can't count on it. And Eric Ainge, who started horribly at home against Alabama last week, you say he better not do that again tonight.
Oh, absolutely. I think the key to the game is Tennessee come out smoking, jump ahead of South Carolina, and keep this crowd a little bit quiet.
Obviously, the crowd has to stay in this game if we're going to see an upset tonight. I think the big thing, we've talked all day about this, is that Savell Newton can really create and make things happen. Tennessee has great athletic ability on that side of the ball. Can Savell Newton, number one, throw the football? Does he have time to throw to Sidney Rice and Kenny McKinley? And when things break down, can he create and keep the sticks moving? And the other thing is they have to maximize the opportunities. When the few times they get to the red zone, they've got to score touchdowns.
Maybe they can use Newton's mobility in the red zone. Sidney Rice has been well guarded by SEC teams. He only has the one touchdown. Prediction time, my friend.
Well, in the theme of the upsets that we've seen throughout this afternoon, I really think, Lee, that going on the road in the SEC on a Saturday night, you've got to be a lot better than the team you're playing. And that's why I think Savell Newton's the difference, and I think the defense keeps them in the game. Bulls can't run the ball enough. South Carolina with number 13 beats Tennessee.
You know, I'm going to need some help. Hey, Cousin Smokey, Cousin Smokey, how do you like Tennessee tonight? They looking good? Yeah. Oh, Cousin Smokey looks good. Give me that thing right there. I'm going with Rocky Top. Rocky Top wins tonight.
Hey, by the way, the real Smokey, he bit an Alabama player.
That's all right. He's ready to go.
Last week.
Thank you, Rocky.
Something to keep an eye on.
Thank you, Smokey.
So we got a split decision down here. Yes.
Rocky
It's a popular decision in this quarter of the stadium, which is the Big Orange quarter. But the Gamecocks about to make their entrance, and we'll see if they can pull the upset and be the first win over a top 10 team in about 8 tries. Upstairs now to Mike Patrick.
Is it all?
All right, thank you, Chris. We're expecting a record crowd here tonight, and most of them are already up in arms with Lee Corso. This is the biggest game in Columbia, South Carolina in a long, long time, especially after last year's win at Tennessee and Steve Spurrier's history with the Vols and Philip Fulmer. Add to that, it's a must-win situation for both. It's the number 8 Tennessee Volunteers at 6-1 in South Carolina to face the 5-2 Gamecocks. It's a packed house of over 80,000 here at Williams-Brice Stadium for a primetime showdown in the SEC. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick, Todd Blackledge. It's great to have you with us. Holly Rowe will join us shortly. With Florida beating Georgia in Jacksonville this afternoon, it means both of these teams are chasing the Gators in the SEC East. Certainly there's a lot of football to go in this season, but the bottom line is for these two teams, this is a huge ball game.
Yeah, well, Tennessee's lone loss was to Florida, so they've got to win to just kind of keep pace with the Gators, hope they get some help. South Carolina, ironically, even though they have 2 conference losses, they control their own destiny because they've got Tennessee tonight, Florida in a couple weeks. Bottom line, huge for both.
Both of these coaches are winning again. We've come to expect it from each one of them, but they're certainly doing it uncharacteristically this year.
Yeah, I can't figure it out. Philip Fulmer's the former offensive lineman. They're throwing the ball all over the place. Steve Spurrier, the Heisman Trophy-winning quarterback, he's called running plays 55% of the time this year, but they're doing what good coaches do. They're playing to their strengths. For Tennessee, their strength is their quarterback, Eric Ainge, and they're putting the ball in number 10's hands, and he's played beautifully this year under the tutelage of David Cutcliffe, offensive coordinator. He's big, he's got a strong arm, he's worked hard on his mechanics and his fundamentals. His accuracy has gone through the roof from 45% last year to 67%. Now, South Carolina, Savell Newton is not a typical quarterback Steve Spurrier's used to.
Todd, back in the 80s, Joe Morrison was the head coach here and was looking for a way to fire up the crowd before the team took the field. What he came up with was the theme song from the hit movie 2001, and it is rightfully taken its next from Columbia, South Carolina.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by CDW, the right technology.
There is a history, of course, between these two coaches, and Holly Rowe, it always hasn't been a pleasant history either.
Well, that's right, Mike. People may have the impression that these two coaches actually cannot stand each other. It's been a huge rivalry over the years, but I asked both of them yesterday what their relationship is really like. Steve Spurrier said it's good. It's not bad at all. Philip Fulmer actually used the words healthy and respectful. When Steve Spurrier was in Knoxville recruiting this summer, he actually called Philip Fulmer. Philip did likewise when he was here in town speaking at a volunteers luncheon. So both guys really do like each other. That rivalry is not as important as you might think, but guys, neither one of them have played for over 20 years, so I think it's more important, the rivalry between these players.
Well, Holly, I'll tell you what, Steve Spurrier still has the needle that it may not get to Philip Fulmer, but it gets to Tennessee fans.
Well, I think the biggest difference in their relationship is 2 of the last 4 years they played each other when Steve was at Florida. Tennessee split those games and won 2 of the 4. And I think that changed the dynamic of their relationship and made it more, quote-unquote, respectful.
That's a great point. Captain Munnerlyn and Carlos Thomas are deep to receive the opening kickoff. Thomas, 5 yards deep. He'll keep it there.
Well, South Carolina hopes to get it going offensively tonight. Possess the second leading rusher on the football team.
And you might think this would be a dream come true for him, but it actually hurts his pro career. He knows he's not going to make it as a quarterback. He'll make it as a wide receiver or a defensive back if he does. And this is really cutting into his experience in that position. Let's take a look at the starting lineups presented by the U.S. Postal Service.
Of the quarterback, Sybil Newton.
Mike West, a former linebacker, is now a wide receiver, is into the ball game. With 4.4 speed. You don't find that in linebackers very often.
Dead ball foul. Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Now, this is not the kind of start Steve Spurrier wanted in his first possession. They had 8 penalties last week in the game against Vanderbilt, along with 4 turnovers. They were able to overcome that and beat Vanderbilt. They can't have that kind of a sloppy game against a team the quality of Tennessee. They had no yardage gained on the first play and the penalty on the second play.
Freddie Brown, number 82, comes in as a 4th wide receiver. 3 to the top of the screen. 4-man rush. Newton throws underneath, and it's intercepted, picked off by the middle linebacker Marvin Mitchell. And Mitchell, touchdown. 19 yards on the deflection.
Well, Mitchell got the interception and the score, but it was Jonathan Wade who made the play for Tennessee. He's the one that was defending and ripped the ball out and caused Mitchell to get the pick.
Tennessee's defense gets the first points of the ball game. Will Hoyt, the veteran place kicker, is on for the point after. And Newton, who had done so well, makes a mistake early, and Tennessee capitalizes. The Volunteers with the early 7-0 lead. Tennessee's defense with a big early play, and they convert on the interception return for a 7-0 lead. And did that quiet 80,000 people?
Well, you mentioned Mike West, who was going to see his first action tonight. Former linebacker, has had a hamstring problem almost all the way through the season. Steve Spurrier really hoping he could come along as the number 3 receiver, and not a good way for him to start.
Steve Spurrier just saw tremendous record when scoring first, lousy record when not scoring first. The only exception last week against Vanderbilt. This time they'll start at the 21-yard line.
I want you to watch now. Mike West is going to be right here, and he's going to run a little in route. And the guy to watch is Jonathan Wade. Watch him. It's a zone defense for Tennessee. So he's going to release Sidney Rice down the field and then read this in route And it's a good throw by Savell Newton, but Jonathan Wade just ripped the ball out, much as you would do a strip drill to cause a fumble. He ripped the ball out, it stayed up in the air, and Mitchell got the interception.
Handoff, Boyd plows his way across the 25. Gerard Mayo makes the tackle.
Known as a pass rusher as well. Had a big sack on Alabama's last possession in the game a week ago.
Boyd gets the carry again. South Carolina trying to keep it on the ground, establish something right here. Mayo again on another tackle. He has had a tremendous year. Pretty good set of linebackers for the Volunteers.
Well, South Carolina, one of their goals is to kind of shorten the game. I mean, they know that they can't get in a shootout, in a high-scoring, back-and-forth kind of game with Tennessee or anybody for that matter. They've got to sustain the football. They've got to drive it. And fewer possessions actually works better for South Carolina in the way they're playing football right now.
Newton in the shotgun. There's that option, and they give it to Boyd again. He's up to the 40. A lot of big play potential.
Take a look at what Tennessee has done the last 7 quarters. At halftime of the Georgia game 2 weeks ago, John Chavis lit into his defense. They had given up 24 points in the first half. He got after him, and ever since then, ever since the 3rd quarter of the Georgia game, they have played outstanding football.
Corey Boyd again. They're exploiting the middle of that line, and Boyd out near the 49-yard line, and that'd be about perfect for everything to work for him. So far, not bad. Newton again, quarterback draw. This kid has talent. And Steve Spurrier says it's really a shame. But when he came here, Newton saw the handwriting on the wall.
I mean, he's got a dynamic personality that the other players really respond to as well.
Boyd. And that time they went right in this drive. They've all been runs. Four-man rush against Newton. Plenty of time. Down the middle and overthrown. Flags come down. That's going to be interference inside the 5. Basketball player of the year. Averaged 18 points and 7 rebounds. Has a 36-inch vertical jump to go with his 6'4" frame.
Empty backfield now for Newton.
Blitz coming. Right up the middle. Oh, what a nice little head and shoulder fake by Savell Newton for a first.
And he's an excellent runner.
I thought his game against Auburn was brilliant. Nearly pulled off the upset. If it hadn't been for a drop pass, they'd have had it tied late in the game.
Same formation here.
But now Newton trying to beat the play clock.
He didn't. The flag is down in the end zone. I think that's the 2nd delay of game that they're going to get called on Savell Newton. Well, they're going to give it to him, I think.
There's no foul for the end of the game.
Back in Columbia, South Carolina, Tennessee with the early lead, but the Gamecocks are driving. First down at the 11-yard line. So they can get a first down just inside the 1.
Red zone has been a problem area for him.
Newton with good time, takes off. And gets to about the 9. Covered by Antonio Reynolds from his defensive end spot.
We showed you that red zone number. Need a score here. Touchdowns, not field goals.
Newton with time, little crossing pattern, thrown to Mike West, the former linebacker. He's brought down by Wardlow.
Nice job by South Carolina picking up the blitz. South Carolina trying to come after Newton. A lot of time, good protection to pick up the crossing route. And then a nice tackle in the open field by Wardlow. West has great speed, but a very sure tackle by Wardlow. And we got some confusion again personnel-wise for South Carolina. And the play clock down to 11. They're going to have to call another timeout. Did once, and Savell Newton ran up the middle against the defense.
They need to reach the 1 for a first down. Newton throws on the run, tipped to get an interception by Jonathan Wade. Holy cow. Almost caught by Corey Boyd off the tip.
Well, that's a mistake for Savell Newton. I mean, he's got to try to get it in the end zone. If he can't, then he's just got to, settle for 3 points. I thought he was over the line of scrimmage when he threw it. He was very close, and the ball was tipped, and Wade comes down with the interception. Yeah, you want 7 instead of 3, but you definitely want 3 instead of 0 when you get down there.
Especially after a 74-yard drive that took 5.5 minutes off the clock and took 10 plays. They get nothing out of it, but they have shown one thing, that they can move the ball on the ground against Tennessee. And Stewart is the nothing. Tennessee. Tennessee's defense has done the job so far. They have a touchdown on an interception return, an interception that stopped the touchdown drive for South Carolina. Stewart was the injured player, able to come off under his own power. And Tennessee's offense gets the football for the first time from the 20. Eric Gaines, the quarterback, to throw. Hit as he throws, and it's incomplete.
But Tennessee, the #1 passing offense in the SEC behind Eric Ainge. His receivers, Robert Meacham has been his go-to guy, averaging over 100 yards per game in receiving yards. Brett Smith might have to step up tonight a little bit more. He's been the #3 receiver, but Jason Swain a little banged up. And Arian Foster comes back into the starting lineup with the injury to LaMarcus Coker, a more physical runner, not the same speed that Coker had.
Foster started the first 2. Then missed 3 with an ankle injury, and Coker was in there. Turns the corner, first down and more up to the 45-yard line.
Well, that's Brett Smith getting more involved in the offense. Again, Jason Swain, an injured left ankle, no practice this week. He's normally the slot receiver, Smith, a well-designed reverse, a fast flow defense in South Carolina, get them running one way and come the reverse back early in the ball game, just to kind of send a message, misdirection message to South Carolina.
Spotted to 45 for a first down. Foster
matching the play of Sears on the left side.
Meacham in momentum back, or motion back to the formation. He'll get the little toss out in the flat. Got away from Brinkley, gets down to the South Carolina 41-yard line. Brad Cottom, a good block for him, the tight end.
It's a nice job by Eric Ainge. When you run a bootleg, a naked bootleg as a quarterback, the key thing is you must get your head and eyes around. You've got to see where the pressure's coming from. If he doesn't get his eyes around, there's no way he gets the ball quick enough to Meacham. And Meacham does a great job of getting his hands on the football and then turning upfield. A lot of yards after the catch for Robert Meacham this year. Big and fast.
He is 3rd in the country in receiving yards, almost 109 a game. Foster dragging a tackler with him to the 39. Captain Munnerlyn would not let go. Gamecock's secondary has been up and down this
games, making him as uncomfortable as South Carolina can.
South Carolina comes with the blitz. Little toss to Meacham. Not much in front of Foster, rather, and he's knocked out of bounds inside the 30. Let's go to Reese Davis. Things you really didn't expect were coming.
Well, Arian Foster, who missed 3 games with an ankle, had hobbled himself off the field again. Hardesty now the #3 back in.
Coker is out at least a month. There goes Hardesty.
Yeah.
The cupboard is not bare. Nope. He's down to the 6. Got a great block from his freshman center, Josh McNeil.
David Cutcliffe told us at their hotel last night, we've got to get our backs involved and our tight ends early in the passing game. So much attention to our wide receivers. We've seen a couple swings, this time just a setup screen, good blocking out in front. South Carolina is so concerned with the wideouts of Tennessee, not paying attention to the backs coming out of the backfield right now.
First and goal, Volunteers. Goal, Foster trying to shake it off. Hardesty on the draw. The power runner takes it down near the 7. Let's go to Holly. What do we have on Foster?
Guys, Arian Foster is complaining about that left ankle. What they're doing right now is actually changing the ankle brace he is wearing. They got a new one out of the equipment bin, and they will redo that. Also, Antoine Stewart complaining of some pain and discomfort in his sternum. He's trying to shake it off and will likely return.
All right, thanks, Holly. 2nd and goal. Bunch the receivers to the left side. Fake the end around. Hardesty.
Well, this is one loss to Florida, minus 11 yards rushing. They beat Alabama last week, but only 57 yards rushing on 21 carries.
South Carolina changing a lot of personnel on 3rd and goal. Some of them just getting in position now. Ainge fakes the play to Hardesty. Plenty of time. Now throws in the end zone.
Oh, you kidding?
Two South Carolina players had a shot at the interception, and as it is, Cook and Woodson knocked it away from each other, and it's a Tennessee touchdown. Are you kidding? Poor decision by Ainge to throw that ball. There was not a volunteer receiver anywhere near it. What a break for Tennessee. Now they may want to look at this.
Well, we saw a tip in the end zone that resulted in interception. This looked like an interception for sure. You were right. Bad decision by Ainge, throwing back to the middle of the field. And what are they looking at? I mean,
looked like Smith had it. Well, the ball did hit the ground, and it bobbled some. It's all right if it hits the ground if you maintain possession. But the officials will look at that. If they see the ball move, they may say he did not have possession.
well, again, the call on the field was touchdown, so it has to be indisputable video evidence to change the call.
Or touchback. No, touchdown.
Touchdown.
They get turned around again.
I'd be surprised if they change this one. But boy, we've seen some funny bounces.
The play stands as called on the field. Touchdown.
Smith gets his 3rd touchdown catch of the year. This one couldn't be much stranger right now. Wilhite for the point after. 10 plays, 80 yards. Can Newton bring them back? South Carolina down early, 1st quarter.
In fact, we've made quite a name for ourselves. Yet most folks don't realize how much that passion carries over into everything we do. From our unique partnership with Oak Ridge National Laboratory to the only forensic program of its kind. We're just as devoted to making things happen off the field as we are on it. The University of Tennessee, changing tomorrow, today.
Back in Columbia, South Carolina, Florida a winner this afternoon. They go to 5-1 in the SEC East. Tennessee, the only pursuer with just 1 loss. South Carolina at 3-2, playing Tennessee and Florida still to go. So they actually control their own destiny. 2 wins, and they would be in first place with the tiebreakers. But it may be a tall order tonight. They're already down 14-0. Munnerlyn and Thomas are deep for Wilhoit's kick. And this one will go out of bounds. South Carolina will get great field position on that kicking mistake.
Well, the game's been a game of funny bounces so far tonight. First possession, Savell Newton. This was a good throw. I don't put this on the quarterback as much as the receiver, Mike West. Jonathan Wade rips it out. Marvin Mitchell takes it in for the touchdown. And then this one was Savell trying to create a little too much creativity. And Jonathan Wade with the interception. And this one should have been an interception and resulted in a touchdown. So the bounce is certainly going the way of the Volunteers here in the first quarter. As if Tennessee needed any help in this game. I mean, they are a team on a real roll since their loss to Florida, and up 14 right now.
South Carolina moved the ball well the last time they had it. Flag is down, and so is Newton. He'll lose about a yard. We'll check the penalty. A tackle made by Wes Brown, number 94, as they rotate ends and tackles out of that defensive line to keep everybody fresh.
Offsides, number 90, defense, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
That's Turk McBride, their best lineman, who was offside.
Ball is now placed on the 40 for Carolina.
Well, if you're South Carolina, you come back and try to do the same thing you did in the last drive. Just try to run it as much as you can.
Run the football. I mean, they had success doing that. I think they got to try to get number 4 involved a little bit. Play action, try to get the ball to Sidney Rice. He's up here at the top of the screen right now. Get him involved.
Mike Davis, number 25, is checked in at a running back spot. Instead, they'll fake the screen one way and go to Corey Boyd the other way.
It was a nice job by Sidney Rice turning into a blocker that time. The screen, fake one way, come back the other way to Boyd, and Sidney Rice gets a key block to secure the first down. Nice execution by Newton. And out on the outside, Sidney Rice gets the first down for Boyd. Working on Stewart. Good to see Stewart back in the game.
Newton trying to change the play. Boyd again. Nice cut on another first down to the 37-yard line. Wade has to make the tackle, and he has really run well.
And they have found something on the left side of the Tennessee defense. That's where they're exploiting. Take a look at South Carolina's offense the first 2 games compared to the last 5. A lot of that due to the Savell Newton being named the starting quarterback. Look at the third down. That to me is the biggest change. With Savell Newton in the game, they have possessed the football by converting third downs over 50% because of his ability to create with his legs or his arm.
Boyd averaging 7 yards a carry, 49 yards on 7 tries. Got about 5 on that one.
Well, it's interesting because this Tennessee defense last week went against Ken Darby of Alabama, who was coming into the game back-to-back 100-yard games. They held him to 26 yards on 14 carries. Corey Boyd back-to-back 100-yard games against Kentucky and Vanderbilt coming into tonight's game, and he's off to a very fast start here in the first half against John Chavis's defense.
Well, you have to respect Newton, and he puts that ball in Boyd's belly, and it's just like an any option read.
Yep.
And they're trying to pay attention to Newton, and Boyd is eating them up. Now Davis goes in. He slips a tackle. Picks up a couple, and the linebacker, Gerard Mayo, makes the stop. Mayo burst on the national scene against California when they slugged them. 3 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. He was the National Player of the Week in that roughing up of California.
He's had an ankle problem that he's just now getting 100% back from. He had a week off before the Alabama game, and against Alabama, 12 tackles and a sack. He was the SEC Player of the Week on the defensive side.
See if South Carolina will get a playoff before the quarter ends, and they've decided not to. That's the end of the first 15 minutes here in Columbia. 14-0 Tennessee. Welcome back to Columbia, South Carolina. Both of these teams chasing the Florida Gators in the SEC East Florida with one loss. Neither one of these clubs can afford a defeat here tonight to maintain their position.
Well, we mentioned the improvement for South Carolina on third down with Newton in the game. They're 0 for 1 tonight.
Newton bobbles the snap. It cost him any chance of getting the first down.
Now, this was just a case of Savell being in too big of a hurry. I mean, this was his number called to run the option, but he took off before he had the ball secured. It's a matter of doing first things first, and maybe Savell pressing a little bit too much right now. It's a big game for him. He knows it.
They're going to go for it, Todd.
Well, they're in Suckup's range for sure. He kicked a 55-yarder last week. But I think Steve Spurrier wants to try to get closer to that end zone. Oh, my goodness, another timeout.
They're all gone. They've used all their timeouts here. And we have 14:20 to go in the half. And the old ball coach is not happy with that. We'll see if they still go for it when we come back to South Carolina. Smokey, the Tennessee mascot. It's election season, remember, and we have Smokey Gate. And we will have Holly Rowe investigating momentarily. They've changed their mind, and Suckup will try a 50-yard field goal. He's hit from 55 this year. He's only missed from 51. Kid is good.
He is good.
Well, guys, it was an alleged incident that took place last week before the Alabama game. A player was warming up, an Alabama player, and supposedly kind of landed on Smokey. Well, the Alabama people are saying that he was bitten. The Tennessee people, not quite so sure. Mike Shula said there was blood drawn, but because the player's a freshman, the media hasn't been allowed to verify that story. I spoke with the Smokies handlers. They said nothing has come of the incident, and that this is really a good, friendly dog. They really test these dogs because they have to be around a lot of kids, around a lot of people coming up, putting their hands in his face. So this has proven to be a pretty people-friendly dog so far, but the handler did say, hey, any good coonhound worth his weight would respond if landed on. So that's their story, and they're sticking to it.
Well, Holly, players respond. Why wouldn't a dog?
Yeah, well, especially if it was an Alabama player. I mean, you know, that rivalry runs deep.
I don't think that'd be a fair matchup with Gamecock. Got to look out for those talons, though. What a weapon. All right, Reese, thanks very much. Sometimes you don't have to solve the puzzle solves itself. With Southern Cal losing this afternoon, Foster is back in there. He'll get the carry on the handoff from Ainge. And South Carolina playing the run very strongly tonight.
Well, they commit a lot of guys to the run, but got his training at Southern Miss, and this style of defense has been pretty popular. When you have undersized guys, but you have speed, move them around and confuse the offense.
And they began this year with 10 new starters in this unit. Ainge, plenty of time, throws underneath. That one will be complete to Meacham. Didn't get much and then dragged out of bounds.
Eric Ainge really struggled in the first half last week against Alabama. 3 interceptions. His mechanics kind of got goofy. He was forcing some balls, but he looks pretty comfortable tonight throwing the football. Good protection. Meacham, his go-to guy. He's got a big body, so he can shield that defender. Munderland was in decent position, but Meacham at 6'3", 215 pounds, able to shield the defender away.
Foster picks up nearly 5 before Emmanuel Cook stood him up.
You know, Eric Ainge is a different quarterback completely than he was a year ago. Look at those numbers and look at the completion percentage, yards per game, everything dramatically up. And I attribute that to David Cutcliffe. Got a hold of him in the spring and got him to just change the way he practiced, the way he worked. He worked on his fundamentals. His footwork is much better this year, and that's why he's a more accurate quarterback.
He has produced some tremendous passes. Foster again, room to run this time, and he's out to the 41-yard line, got a first down. Eric Young pulled from his right tackle spot, threw him a good block.
We're talking about Eric Ainge and his footwork and the improvement in his footwork. A lot of people don't realize that being an accurate quarterback and throwing the ball accurately has more to do with your feet than it does your arm. It's all about getting your body in the good position, being on balance, not overstriding. And if your body's in the right spot, the ball's going to go where you want it to go. And he had really gotten poor mechanic-wise last year.
5 out of 6 for 63 yards so far. Now make it 6 out of 7. And Swain is into the ball game, and he gets the catch down to the 46-yard line. Swain has been bothered by an ankle injury, but has more than 100 career catches for this program.
He had 3 catches in the first half last week, and then had to be taken out. Couldn't finish the game because he re-aggravated that left ankle injury. Didn't practice at all this week. He had one of those boots on at the hotel last night, but looks pretty good running around there tonight.
Foster breaks a tackle, dives forward to the 42. And it looks right now like that South Carolina defense is already a little bit tired.
It's a defense that maybe doesn't have the same kind of depth that a Tennessee defense has right now. Their guys have to play a little bit longer, more reps. But they play hard for Tyrone Nix, and they use their speed and their quickness to their full advantage.
Just brought in 2 new tackles, neither one of which weighs 280. Foster again. Pursuit from the backside gets him, and they can certainly use a hold here on 3rd and 7. Flag is down. They'll whistle the play dead.
And there's a big difference. You look at Tennessee's 3rd down conversions, outstanding this season, but 3rd and 12 is a whole lot tougher than 3rd and 7. 3rd and 12 allows you as a defense to play maybe a little more zone and try to keep things in front of you, try to force an underneath throw and then make a tackle out in space.
Taylor, number 12, Briscoe, number 81, are in as additional wide receivers for Tennessee. 4-man rush. Ainge now flushed. This is not what he does best. Jimmy and Dustin all preceded him at Tennessee. And those 4 Colquitts have the top 4 career averages ever in volunteer history. McKinley is deep. And Colquitt just crushed that one. It's only a net of 23 as they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Will South Carolina be able to move the ball again? They've moved it well so far. They just can't score very much. See, to do it with 3 different teams. So he has been a thorn in their side forever. Newton. Great escapability in Savell Newton out to the 26 before he's drilled by Marvin Mitchell. Let's go to Reese Davis.
Love it.
I can only imagine Mac Brown's not real happy.
How about Gene Chizik, the defensive coordinator?
Newton gets it out to McKinley, and McKinley stretches out to the 31.
Just still need to develop that 3rd receiver to be really effective in their passing game.
Newton out to the sideline, and nice play by Corey Boyd. Carolina gave him a chance to play running back. Then he was suspended for a year for a violation of team rules. Wanted to go home, and his mom said, you're staying down there. Yeah! Nice throw by Newton, complete to McKinley. Come out throwing as opposed to the other ones where they tried to establish the ground game. They've been very effective at both, much more effective than the scoreboard would indicate.
Steve's changing this one from the sideline because Tennessee is showing blitz, so they're changing the play from the sideline.
Here comes the pressure. Newton hangs in the pocket. Downfield and complete to the 20-yard line to Rice.
Tie goes to the receiver if they rule it a tie. Calling the same plays he would call if Blake Mitchell was the quarterback, the more passing-oriented quarterback. The difference is he's not overcoaching Savell Newton. He's not doing as many audibles with him because he wants Savell to be, but he also has that green light to make something happen with his legs if he doesn't like what he sees.
And he seems to be a much better fit with that inexperienced offensive line. Boy, that was low. Yeah. And on the short passes, nothing downfield, but on the short passes, he's got a hitch in his delivery.
Well, he's
able to come up with that. 3rd and 9.
Tennessee showing pressure again.
Newton with room. Now he throws on the run. Touchdown.
What a play.
Savell Newton to Mike West, a former linebacker, with his first touchdown. And that was Newton's mobility and his escapability. He got out on the perimeter and found a wide-open receiver.
If you don't like what it looks like from the pocket, get out and make something happen on your own. He tried it down in the red zone and threw an interception, but credit this guy's courage, his confidence to come back and do the same thing, and this time make it pay off.
He is very accurate throwing the ball on the run. And the point after makes it 14-10. That was a 3rd down, and when we come back, Todd will break down why Savell Newton is so dangerous. And we have a 4-point ball game. Tennessee on the return out to the 21-yard line, Marsalis Johnson. And they'll start from there.
Well, we mentioned South Carolina, a touchdown against Tennessee.
Foster is back in there for Tennessee. Ainge fakes it to him and then comes back and throws to Meacham across the 30 out of bounds to the 33. 3 catches for the All-American candidate.
And Eric Ainge looks much more comfortable tonight in the first half than he did against Alabama. Again, his footwork got kind of out of skewed or off skewed or whatever you want to, however you say that. How would I say that?
It wasn't skewed.
It was not skewed. It was not skewed last week. But this week he looks sharp.
You have to wonder if Savell Newton had started the season where that offense would be. That's Ainge's dad, Doug. Of course, he has famous uncle Danny Ainge. Foster on the screen. Good hustle by the South Carolina defense. They get to him at the 39-yard line. Here's Reese Davis.
All right, Mike, you know.
That's pretty good football.
That's it, and they're getting better each week.
Yes,
we'll see them here next week against South Carolina.
Second and 4 for Tennessee. Foster on the delay. Nice cut. Midfield first down. Looked like there was nothing there, and a little shifty move picked him up 5 yards.
And just a little hesitation. David Cutcliffe said he has excellent vision. Sometimes too good. Sometimes he sees too many guys. But that time he did a nice job of feeling where the guys were coming from, setting up some blockers, and tacking on extra yardage.
Tennessee at midfield. Clock running, under 4 minutes to go, first half. Ainge got a block from Foster.
Nice throw.
Good throw, but out of bounds.
Now, the tight end did not know where the sideline was. Brad Cottom was the receiver, and he was in good position, but I don't think he knew where the sideline was.
And it would have come back on the penalty anyway.
6'8" junior. Oh, wow, I think his left foot was down.
Sure was.
There is a flag down.
Hold.
Foster. Now that's hustle. Second and 18. Foster in the flat. Good play out there by Carlos Thomas. Cut his knees out from under him. Let's go to Holly.
Hey guys, Savell Newton, the quarter Martin. So far it looks like he's okay, guys, but we'll keep our eye on it. They certainly need him at his best tonight.
Now that was one of the first plays of that drive when he hit Marvin Mitchell when he scrambled up the middle. That was very early on in that scoring drive.
3rd and 13, another big play. Ames scrambling, throws on the run, and complete through the hands of Foster. He had him.
He sure did. That was a good bit of improvising by Eric Ainge. We've talked about Savell Newton moving out of the pocket and creating. That's exactly what Eric Ainge did. Eric Ainge, a pretty good athlete by his own right. Excellent baseball and basketball player. Moves, buys time, keeps his eyes downfield. And that should have been a catch and another 3rd down conversion for Tennessee.
Boy, it looked like the ball got on top of Foster before he was ready for it, but he needed to be ready for it. Colquitt to kick. And McKinley will try to return it. Tripped up as he got to the 12, 13-yard line. Let's go to Reese Davis. Reese.
Formerly known as the world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
I was there for a few of those, and it was. I helped. Clock running. South Carolina with no timeouts, remember. Boyd on the delay gets up to 15. And from where they're starting, they would be content, I would think, to run the clock out here.
Has to be pleased with the fact that they've been able to claw their way back in this game. And,
if you're Tennessee, don't you think about using your timeouts?
Yeah, I think you would. Maybe try to get after a punt if you could.
Newton on a designed run going up to the 19-yard line. Could be the last play of the half. Boyd taken down at the 23-yard line, very close to the 1st down sticks. Right at the yellow line. Marked ready for play. The clock will run. That'll be the end of the first half as South Carolina has come back to make it only a 4-point game. Let's go down to Holly Rowe.
Hey, Coach Sperry, after that first play of the game, a turnover for score, what went through your mind?
Oh, we had 2 tip balls. They got both of them. So, but we're back in the game. So, you know, we just gotta go play.
How do you think your offense regrouped?
Oh, they did well. Well, and our defense made some stops. So we're in the game.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Great to listen to, isn't he? Our halftime score, Tennessee 14, South Carolina 10. Now let's join Reese Davis in the studio. He has the Pontiac.
Gamecock's going to get back in the locker room, drop some more ball plays. Maybe Lou and Mark alongside, maybe some ball plays where the ball's not batted up into the air. You know what? Sometimes you have to get those bounces to go your way. Didn't look as if Florida was going to need that against Georgia this afternoon.
Here's like 14-0. Gamecocks got off the canvas and scored 10 points. South Carolina, very generous tippers. They tipped the ball into an interception, tipped the ball, should have been a touchdown, fell into a hole, but rallied behind Savell Newton.
Well, first of all, Tennessee's got to come out smoking again. David Cutcliffe and Eric Ainge have got to throw the football and keep running draws and screens. Especially, they got to go deep, outside, and deep in the middle. They've got to stretch the defense. They're throwing nickel and dime stuff, but they got to try to get a big one.
You know, the thing that's killing Tennessee is what we knew and heard them coming in, their inability to run the football consistently. 64 yards running the football. I don't think the balance there is enough to be able to slow down the pass rush from South Carolina. But as I said all day long, Savell Newton, the X factor, what I love, and I'm sure Todd's been talking about, is he scrambles not only to pick up yardage, scrambling to buy time and then throwing the ball downfield. That's the key for Savell Newton here in the second half.
Penalties hurt their attempts to extend the lead in the second quarter. They'll get the ball to start the second half. Back upstairs to Mike and Todd.
All right, Chris, thanks very much. And here's the Principal Financial Group first half stats. And maybe a little bit of an eye-opener that South Carolina has outgained Tennessee in this ball game, particularly 93-65 rushing. And if you take away those couple of breaks that Tennessee had on tip balls. This is an entirely different football game.
Yeah, the turnover is really the difference in the game so far for Tennessee. And credit to South Carolina that Savell Newton in particular has overcome those turnovers. He's come back. He played very well down the stretch there in the first half. And so South Carolina right back in the ball game.
They had to be very encouraged by the fact that they were down 14-0. Didn't panic. They were able to move the ball. A couple of drives they moved. They ran great.
Yeah, I think they ran the ball well that first half, the whole first half. And I think that'll be one of the big differences to see. What does John Chavis do defensively to slow down the South Carolina running game, because they had some problems stopping it in the first half.
The numbers on Newton, 70% completions, 84 yards. Tennessee will get the ball to start the second half. And that's the second kicking mistake we have seen in this ball game.
Well, Savell Newton, he settled down and really started to become a big-time difference maker in the game. Through this touchdown, creating on the move, made some nice scrambles, a couple designed runs, a couple runs on his own. And South Carolina right back in the football game.
With a kick out of bounds, Tennessee will start from its 35. Ainge in the shotgun, fakes it to Foster, goes out to Smith, flanker screen. And Smith, with all that effort, will get maybe a yard.
That was really well defended by Jasper Brinkley, or actually Casper Brinkley, the defensive end, and he missed him and came after him again. We've seen a couple South Carolina players do that. Miss on the first tackle, stay with it, and get him the second time.
Jasper and Casper transfers from Georgia Military College, and it was a package deal. One the middle linebacker, one a defensive end. Blitz coming against Ainge. Nowhere to go, and he has to eat it.
Their biggest problem in the first half, they only had 25 snaps. He said that South Carolina's game plan to keep the ball and have a possession game was brilliant, and they did a good job keeping it away. He said the other critical problem was that on key possessions, they had penalties that caused them to go 3 and out, so they've got to clean it up.
And Holly, that goes back to what Todd was saying. It's to South Carolina's advantage to shorten the game, and they've done it. Here comes a blitz. They want a screen, and they covered it beautifully.
First possession of the third quarter a lot this season. That time they didn't.
Colquitt, who was as good as there is in college football, to kick to McKinley. This one a low line drive, and McKinley with a chance from the 34. And great coverage by Tennessee. They get him at the 35 after a 44-yard kick that Colquitt didn't get much air under. Robert Ayers on special teams, hustling downfield to make the tackle for the Volunteers.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a little bit better opportunity for a return if he goes up the field in north and south, but he started going sideways and ran out of room. Still have to see if South Carolina can get Sidney Rice involved in the game. He was not a factor. Here he is right here on the bottom. Big-time receiver. Hasn't been a factor yet tonight.
Newton off of play action. There's Rice, made the catch.
This guy had phenomenal numbers last year as a freshman, and so far in SEC play, he's really struggled. Last week was kind of a breakout game.
He's going to have to go some to match those numbers. Boyd somehow avoided losing 5 yards, actually picked up 3 before Marvin Mitchell made the tackle.
Best defensive lineman, Justin Harrell, their defensive tackle, an All-American candidate, injured before the Florida game, played the Florida game, torn bicep muscle, but had surgery after that. And there he is on the sideline, still one of the leaders on this team, but he was by far their best interior lineman, but they have really rallied and played well.
Also lost an outstanding corner, Inky Johnson, who is facing surgery himself. Newton, Fulmer. He has beaten him with 3 different teams.
Well, that's, again, just Savell Newton, his ability to make a play where there is no play. You can't account for that.
Boyd. Didn't look like there was much there. Still, he got 4 yards before
to corral him. Jamon Meredith playing the left tackle has kind of anchored that side a little bit.
4 wide receivers are in for the Gamecocks. Newton, pressure, got away.
See, that's not supposed to happen. I'm sorry. I mean, when you have pressure right up the middle.
Matthew Power just flying past the quarterback. 3rd and a yard. Another impressive drive for South Carolina. Boyd. And I tell you what, Gerard Mayo just came up and filled that hole big time.
Yep, he came from the backside and was anticipated the snap count, met the ball carrier behind the line of scrimmage. They gained nothing.
Spurrier not even hesitating. From here, it would be about a 48, 49-yard field goal, which is well within Succop's range. But he's moving the ball right now. South Carolina called timeout. Let's see if they try to get Newton on the perimeter here on 4th and a yard and a half.
Same defensive look.
Boyd made the catch. Can he get the first down? No.
Bad pitch.
Sure was.
See, that was a good idea because, again, Tennessee had it stacked in, but because the pitch was behind Boyd, it took away the timing of the play. Boyd had to stop and reach back for the pitch, and he wasn't able to get started fast enough again. See, this was a good call because they were crashing down, but Gerard Mayo forced the bad pitch by the quarterback, Newton.
Boy, Mayo came in from the corner and made him get rid of it in a hurry. Mayo's made some huge plays in this game. Ainge under pressure.
Great throw.
Tight end has it down the sideline.
Great throw
to
under
midfield.
And again, the bootleg and Eric Ainge getting his head and eyes around to see where his trouble was. If he doesn't get his head around quick, he doesn't know he has to get backpedal and get rid of the football. But because he saw the pressure, he was able to retreat and still make an accurate throw.
And Cottom is a big target, 6'8", 260, and obviously can run a little bit. Play action by Ainge again. And overthrows Meacham. Had him behind Carlos Thomas.
Well, they haven't attacked down the field too much in this game. They took a shot, the deep crossing route, one of Tennessee's favorite routes, and he had a couple steps on Thomas, and it was a pretty good throw, but just a little bit too far to the sideline. Most of the stuff has been underneath, a little dink and dunk stuff, bootlegs. That was the first time they attacked downfield, and he came up a little bit short.
Hardesty, the redshirt freshman, is the tailback. Ainge, good play fake again. Really air-nails this one. Yeah, it was intended for Brett Smith, who was wide open.
That looked solid throw.
Crowd's back into it on 3rd and 10. Blitz coming. Ainge throws incomplete, intended for Meacham. It was behind him.
Well, they've let some opportunities slip by right now, and they're allowing South Carolina to stay in the game. They missed the long one to Meacham on 1st down. He missed a wide open Brett Smith on 2nd down.
Colquitt to kick to McKinley. This is a better kick. There's a flag down. McKinley muffs it. Tennessee says they've got it. No signal from the official.
And the key will be, what is the penalty?
Pushing, grabbing, biting, spitting, anything in there. And it's Tennessee football. Now we'll check the penalty.
Repeat, 4th down.
What a huge break for South Carolina. Robert Ayers called for the infraction.
Well, once again, a mistake by Tennessee or a breakdown has taken away a golden opportunity for Tennessee.
And Philip Fulmer not happy. Colquitt will punt again. And McKinley drops back inside his own 15. 8:08 to go, 3rd quarter. Another pretty kick by Colquitt.
McKinley didn't want to mess with that one, and he should have caught it.
Look at this. Out of bounds at the 1.
See, McKinley was freaked out. He didn't want to touch that ball because he muffed the last one, and that was one he should have fielded on the 10-yard line.
Colquitt, 57 yards, ends up putting it in the coffin corner.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Ford. Bold moves. They happen every day. And the United States Postal Service. Let your packages know their ride is here. Request a pickup at USPS.com.
The Heisman Trophy won at South Carolina by the great George Rogers. What a college running back he was.
Does he carry that in the back of his SUV there or what? He had it right out there in front of his tailgate.
Got to start from the 1, and Boyd is pushed back as he almost reached the 4. Boyd's run very well tonight, as has Newton.
Well, you hate to start in this kind of field position if you're South Carolina, but they really dodged one, not having another turnover. They overcame the 2 turnovers in the first half, but that one on the muffed punt that was eliminated by the penalty could have been huge here in the second half.
For Boyd, 65 yards on 15 carries tonight. Out of the eye this time, and Newton to throw from the end zone. Double clutched and threw incomplete. Jared Cook, his tight end, couldn't get it. Let's go to Reese.
All right, Mike, the scoring extravaganza between Texas Tech and Texas has slowed a little bit. Selvin Young up and over and into the end zone. That's the only touchdown of the second half so far. Late in the 3rd, Tech holding on to a 3-point lead.
Is that the game in Lubbock?
Yes, it is.
First time we ever went down there for a ball game, we said, if you want to see a tree, drive 200 miles west.
I've never been there.
It's a nice campus. I liked it. Pressure coming. Newton too high. Had a wide open receiver. Sidney Rice would have had the first down.
Well, John Chavis came after Savell Newton in his own end zone. Newton a little wobbly getting up. He's under pressure. He knows the pressure's coming, and he just unloaded it. But he had Sidney Rice wide open, and it would have been a first down. First punt for Ryan Suckup. Only 18 in the season. Only 2 teams with fewer punts than South Carolina.
Mike West will be back to receive. There's that soccer-style kick.
He fumbled,
and South Carolina had a shot at it.
Wow.
They got it.
How about that?
Robert Meacham coughed it up.
I love the strategy for Tennessee having 2 return guys. They were ready for that rugby-style kick, and Meacham actually got him in great field position, but then just couldn't hold on to the football. Tennessee punts. The ball's muffed. They get it, but there's a penalty. South Carolina punts. Tennessee fumbles. South Carolina gets it back. Wow, what a turnaround.
Chris Hale reached in and knocked it out of his hand, although it wasn't much of a shot.
Just a hand on it.
A tremendous break for South Carolina. They get a first down at their own 27. And then they snap the ball, fumbled the snap from center. I'll get that right eventually.
You know, there's a different center in there right now. William Brown. Chris White, I've seen him run in and out a couple times. And William Brown, number 71, most experienced offensive lineman.
Approaching 6 minutes in the third quarter. Newton. On the toss, they'll get it out to the 32-yard line as Mike Davis. He was shaken earlier in the ballgame as well. Third down, Tennessee trying to change up its defense, come from different angles. This pass underthrown and complete. Flag is down. Freddie Brown made the catch. This might be offensive interference.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was severely under.
Because it was interference, they'll take the play instead. And it's 1st and 10 just outside the 15. South Carolina driving for a touchdown that would give them the lead. Newton under pressure. Touchdown! How about Savell Newton? Noah Whiteside will make the catch, his 3rd grab all year. In that secondary. Ainge comes out throwing, low and behind, incomplete.
This is an important drive for Eric Ainge in Tennessee. Their first touchdown drive, they went 85 yards for the score. Since then, their last 4 drives, they've totaled 80 yards, and they've only got 4 points. So this is a critical juncture in the game for him to take control again. He did it in the 4th quarter against Alabama last week. Will he be able to do it on the road here in Columbia?
Meacham and Smith are the wideouts on 2nd and 10. Ainge again, complete this time.
First time the tight end has been involved, Chris Brown.
And Brown with his 18th catch of the year. He is a very talented kid, can play wide receiver.
Even that one, Eric Ainge got away with that one. He was backing up as he threw. He was kind of reacting to pressure when he didn't have to, but he was able to get the completion to Chris Brown.
Hardesty. Couple of yards, that's it. Let's go to Holly.
Guys, after that last touchdown celebration had kind of calmed down on the South Carolina sideline, Savell Newton sat.
Ainge with time, throws underneath, complete. That's going to be very close to a first down as Meacham came back for the ball.
Well, you just got to be, you know, I enjoyed, we visited with him off the practice field Thursday, and you know, he was playing receiver. He wanted to be a receiver. He thinks he projects at the next level as receiver. And after the second game, they came to him. He was going to his receiver meeting. They came to him and said, hey, you're the quarterback now. He says, nuh-uh, not me. I'm not playing quarterback. But he has settled into it. And, boy, he just gets better each game he plays.
Yes, he does. He knows his future is something else, though. Ainge goes to his tight end again, this time out to the 48-yard line. And they have featured the tight end a little bit more tonight than they normally do. Cottom's been involved 3 different times coming out from his tight end spot.
Well, part of that is the respect they have for the South Carolina secondary. I mean, they have been holding opponents to under 50% completions. They have 8 interceptions as a secondary. And so the areas where they can exploit the tight end, the running backs, they've done that tonight.
Tennessee responding well after being stung by South Carolina. Ainge with time. This one's overthrown. There was contact with Swain. No flag.
I think they just got their feet tangled up. I didn't see any real pushing with hands or arms. I think they just got their feet tangled up. I might be wrong, but well, there is a little push with the right hand.
That was Captain Munnerlyn. Been called for less.
Yeah, you're right. We've seen a couple go South Carolina's way that didn't look like pass interference or any more than that.
2nd and 10, a minute 21 to go, 3rd quarter. Is there an upset brewing in Columbia? Blitz coming, they pick it up. Great job by the backs to block on the blitz. And the pass is complete down to the 40. Let's check in with Reese.
All right, Mike.
You wore that ugly black and white. You probably don't like those blue uniforms.
It was not black. It was very dark blue.
It must have been very dark. Hardesty.
Ontario
pick up 4.
On the carry for Tennessee. Emmanuel Cook and Jasper Brinkley on the stop, along with Stanley Doty for Carolina.
Philip Fulmer has got to be enjoying this year a lot more than last season when his team struggled so much.
Yeah, he said it was miserable last year on many different levels. Been a fun team to coach this season.
2nd and 6. Hardesty trying to get to the outside and does. First down at the 28-yard line. Chris Brown threw him a nice block.
It's a nice run check at the line of scrimmage by Eric Ainge. Big Aaron Sears, number 76, with a big block. Chris Brown with a block. And then down the field, Meacham also with a block. I think that's Meacham who was blocking downfield, and the back actually ran into the back of Meacham's legs.
Can't lose him.
He looks to be okay. He's got to sit out for a play.
8 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. And as soon as they wind the clock, we'll start ticking down and have only 15 minutes left to go from Columbia, where South Carolina has the lead after scoring 17 straight against number 8 Tennessee. ESPN's college football primetime is broadcast in high definition and presented by Pioneer Plasma Displays. 15 minutes to go from Columbia. Tennessee jumped on top 14-0. The Gamecocks will spend the rest of the night catching up and going ahead. But Tennessee is driving. 1st and 10 for Ainge. And around.
Wow, is that a hold? They called it too.
Yes, they did. Smith was brought down and looked like the All-American candidate Aaron Sears will be flagged for the hold.
Rodney Polk, number 45, played this play beautifully, and he was the guy that forced the holding call. And another costly penalty, really a momentum killer as this Tennessee drive, very impressive.
Holding, number 76, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
It is Sears.
Take a look right here. Now watch how well this is played by Rodney Polk. He stays at home on the reverse. He keeps outside position, and he forces the hold by Aaron Sears. See that left hand grab the jersey, and then that's a takedown. That's just good fundamental defense by Polk against a very good offensive tackle.
They back him all the way up to the 38-yard line. Hardesty is the tailback. Ainge just overthrown, intended for Meacham. I thought he was going to get that one.
They had what they wanted. They had single coverage. Meacham working on Munnerlyn, and he beat him off the line of scrimmage. Used his strength to get separation, and the ball just a slight overthrow to the inside.
Second and 20. Right now, the penalty has put them out of field goal range. Ainge over the middle. Smith, not much. Got down to the 33-yard line, but Stoney Woodson with another big play.
Part of the problem on that play is one of the things that David Cutcliffe talks about a lot with Eric Ainge is ball placement or ball location, where you throw it. A route like that, you want to throw it where he can catch it and not break stride and keep running. Because that ball was behind Smith, he wasn't able to get any yardage after he made the catch.
3rd and 15. From here, it would be a 50-yard field goal try. Blitz coming.
Nice pickup.
And Ainge throws complete. They've got a first down inside the 15-yard line.
Boy, what a great job by Montario Hardesty on the blitz pickup. Because this blitz was hit on the move. Watch this come full speed and watch Hardesty step right up in there and pick up the blitz. Excellent job to buy Eric Ainge enough time to find the crossing route. That's really good work. And again, Hardesty is the number 3 back. Coker got hurt last week. Hardesty's playing time picking up. Swain playing injured, makes a big catch. A huge conversion on 3rd down for the Vols.
Pretty good pass protection for a redshirt freshman. 1st and 10, Tennessee. Ainge. Wow. To the sideline, touchdown. Smith. Brett Smith beat Carlos Thomas. But there's a penalty flag down at the 12. In fact, there's one on each side.
Yeah, would suggest offsides against South Carolina.
Offsides, number 55, defense. Penalties decline, touchdown.
Stanley Doty, the nose tackle. The South Carolina injury as well. It looks like Fred Bennett. He's their best defensive back. And comes up a little gimpy. And nailed right at the end of that play. And that looks like a cramp the way he's holding his foot.
Well, we talked about ball placement and ball location for Eric Ainge. That ball was beautifully placed for Brett Smith. Outside, where his guy could make the catch and then break one tackle and get in the end zone.
Will Hoyt for the point after. And Tennessee responds by regaining a lead. 21-17. Smokey gets a new hat. Rafters at Williams-Brice, and they've seen a good one. Tennessee on top of South Carolina by 4. After a 79-yard drive by the Volunteers offense, it pays off with a touchdown that gets them the lead.
A change of strategy here in the second half. They tried to run the ball in the first half, not very successful. Much more passing here in the second half.
Munnerlyn from the 8. And stuffed as he got to the 17-yard line. The answer to tonight's athletic trivia question, Savell Newton, one of only 4 players to get to that mark. Hines Ward was something. South Carolina trying to get something started on the ground with Corey Boyd. Let's go to Reese Davis.
1 in the 4th.
And a shootout down in Texas tonight. 12 minutes to go in this one. About 3 yards out of the run after they changed the play. Let's take a look at the ESPNU All-State Standings review. And the big shocker, USC goes down at Oregon State.
As you can see, the big difference in the BCS average between number 3 and number 4. That's going to really open things up for the winner of West Virginia Louisville next week and a bunch of one-loss teams. Tennessee being one of those.
We'll have that West Virginia Louisville game for you on ESPN on Thursday night. That's going to be huge. Boy, and Rice comes up and wanted to flag immediately. He thought he was interfered with by Jonathan Wade.
Well, we've seen a couple calls go against Tennessee that really didn't look like much. I mean, I guess they could have called that, but I don't think they needed to. A little extra juice on this Tennessee defense after that last scoring drive by the Vols. Got good penetration on first down on the run. And got a 3 and out.
Hefty is back to take the punt. He's averaging a crisp 13-9 a return. South Carolina getting some people out there late, and this is an odd-looking formation, isn't it? Double gunners on both sides. And a low line drive kick taken back at the 30. Hefty, if he can get to the outside, he's got something going. Blockers in front, and Hefty all the way down to the 5. And South Carolina get too cute for its own. And now it's smack on the backs of the South Carolina defense to keep Tennessee out of the end zone. I think that punt ever got more than 15 feet off the ground. Foster. Nice lane. Foster into the end zone. Touchdown.
Boy, what a turnaround for the Vols.
Well, that was just power. And look at the reaction among the faithful. You can hear a pin drop in this place now. They may be taking another look at this.
Well, did the ball cross the plane? That's the question. Good, powerful run by Foster. Was his knee down before the ball crossed? I don't think. I think he fell on Woodson before maybe his knee or hip made contact. Hard driving run and way to capitalize by the Vols after the big special teams play. Their kickoff return has not been very good this year, but their punt return really has made drastic improvement as the season has gone on, and Hefty a big reason for that.
After further review, the play stands as called on the field. Touchdown.
So Tennessee has increased its lead to 27-17 pending the extra point.
Jonathan Hefty trying to catch his breath because he's going to have to come right back on the field to play defense.
Will Hoyt knocks it through. 28-17, number 8 Tennessee back in control.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by GMC, engineered to the highest standard, professional grade. And ESPN Game Plan, maximum college football. To order, call your pay-per-view provider or log on to ESPN.com. Search Game Plan.
Tennessee has made this a 2-score ball game here in the fourth quarter. They're up 28-17 on South Carolina. Tennessee, which had problems with late scoring in the first couple of ball games, has done very well recently. They have 14 points in the second half in this one, or in the fourth quarter, rather. Carlos Thomas on the return. And Thomas down inside the 15-yard line. That's what we're talking about as far as the points. The next 4 games after a slow start, gets 68 points in the fourth quarter.
Well, that's the character, and that's not panicking if things aren't going your way. And they have shown that. They lost the one game to Florida where they had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter and lost it. And ever since then, they've played much better in that final period.
And they are trying to stay right on the Gators' heels. Newton lost the snap, now trying to sprint out of trouble. And gets to the 15-yard line before he's taken down. Good hustle by Wes Brown, the defensive end.
Savell Newton has had trouble tonight, about 3 or 4 times mishandling a snap. Didn't look like a bad snap, just not able to grab it. But still with the speed and quickness able to avoid a loss and make it a 2-yard gain.
Such a good athlete, doesn't seem to make a lot of difference, does it? Four-man rush. Newton hangs in the pocket and throws incomplete. Trying to hit the post to Mike West. And West couldn't get there. Let's go to Holly.
Well, guys, as you can imagine, this Tennessee sideline has undergone a dramatic transformation just in the last couple of minutes. The guys on the sideline are saying things like, we've been messing around too long. It's time we put this thing to bed. Got to get our guys out of here and let's put this thing to rest. One of the things about Tennessee that's been so terrific this year is they've been outstanding in the fourth quarter. Not only outscoring opponents heavily, but their defense have come alive, guys.
All right, Holly, they certainly have tonight. Big play here for South Carolina, down 2 scores. And time becoming a factor. Newton takes off. 25, still on his feet to the 28-yard line. Out of the shotgun again. Been taking a long time on the snap. Tennessee only brings 4 after showing a blitz and another incompletion. That was intended for Whiteside, who caught the touchdown pass earlier. Demetrius Morley on the coverage.
Well, yet another SEC game for South Carolina where Sidney Rice is not a big factor in their offense. And that's kind of been the story this year. He had 8 catches, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns last year in the win up in Knoxville. Only 2 catches tonight.
He was a freshman All-American, and by just comparing the numbers, he is going through a sophomore slump. Newton again, that ball's tipped up in the air, incomplete. Rice wants a flag, and they will get it.
They'll wave the flag off, I think, because the ball was tipped.
Looked like Ryan Carl got a hand on it.
There's no foul for defensive pass interference. The pass was tipped. 3rd down.
Well, to bring up another 3rd down and long for Savell Newton. Ryan Carl, we've seen him getting his hands on the ball a couple times tonight. He got the tip, I believe, that was intercepted in the end zone by Wade earlier in the ball game. He's an active guy. You know, he's not maybe the most athletic defensive linebacker that Tennessee has had, but he's very smart, knows where he's going, plays hard. He's been very productive in this defense.
Mentally, that's the toughest spot to play in that defense among the linebackers. Rice again up beefing about the call, wanted a flag. And really going after the official. He's got to be careful there.
Yeah, he's not going to get any calls doing that. I mean, I understand he's frustrated because he's only had 2 catches. But that's not going to help him.
And now the crowd reacting to what they see on the Jumbotron. Hefty is back for another punt return. And now they're starting to throw things on the field. You really don't want to see that.
No.
What the people who have been overserved and are doing that don't realize, they could hurt their own players, or they could hurt a Tennessee player, and their anger isn't worth it. Just not right.
Well, the third down play, Jonathan Wade working on Rice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they could have called that. And we've seen a couple that they've called that they didn't need to call. That one they definitely could have called. And it looked like Jonathan Wade was waiting for the flag.
Yeah, it did.
Turned around and didn't see one. And
well, it was either holding or interference, one or the other. Just about everybody on this crew has been working through colds tonight. We apologize for our froggy sounding voices. And some of the folks you saw are getting an early escort to the parking lot. Beautiful kick. Hefty driven all the way back to his own 25. Just keeps working and actually got a 3-yard return out of it after a punt of 52. Now there's a marker down. The crowd's really upset about the whole situation.
Illegal formation on the kicking team. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Penalty to be added to the end of the run. First down.
We've seen that called twice tonight. Could a one-loss SEC team make the BCS title game? We'll talk about that. How does Smokey look in HD? Pretty good, huh? 28-17, Tennessee on top. 8:36 to go in this ball game. And the Volunteers will now start working on this clock. Foster back into the tailback, and now Ainge to Meacham. 10-5.
is that how you work on the clock?
Didn't take much off of it, did they? Maybe I spoke too soon. 62 yards.
Well, I think it might be a little bit of Tennessee working on some style points, too, as a one-loss team. Beautiful throw by Meacham. They missed on this a couple times earlier. Some deep balls from Ainge to Meacham. This time, right on it. Meacham able to run right under it, not breaking stride against a tiring Carlos Thomas.
And that really makes Meacham's numbers for the night look good. 5 catches, 106. Foster. Nowhere to go.
Just been impressed with Meacham this year. I mean, he's led the team in receiving the last 2 years prior to this, but this year he has more than doubled his yardage from last year, and he has lived up to his what everybody expected him to be when he came here out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. He lost some weight. He got himself in great condition. He really bought into David Cutcliffe's style of practicing with game speed, game tempo. Trooper Taylor, the new wide receiver coach, has been a great addition to his training and his preparation.
And he is every bit a legitimate candidate for the Blitnikoff Award. Lucas Taylor getting his hands on the ball for the first time, but they whistle the play dead.
Only 6 receivers that are averaging over 100 yards per game receiving. And Robert Meacham is one of those 6.
Let's go to Reese. He has a SportsCenter 30 at 30 update.
All right, Mike, sports has news on all the time.
All right, Reese, you never had to ask where you stood with Red Auerbach. He was happy to tell you he had been in ill health for quite a while. Last time I saw him last basketball season in the Washington, D.C. area, he was struggling with his health, but what a great guy. What a wonderful career he had. You know, he had no assistant coaches, I think, until maybe the last year that he was the head coach of the Boston Celtics. Didn't need any. Eric's uncle, they don't discuss sports, they talk about life, is the general manager of the Celtics. Second and goal. Ainge, quarterback draw. How about this? Flag is down, so is Ainge. You'll lose a couple.
South Carolina offsides, trying to blitz. It's kind of a desperate situation now for South Carolina. Got to cross into that neutral zone.
I'm not sure that was the play they were trying to run.
I don't know. It looked like a designed quarterback draw.
Offsides, number 52, defense. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat, second down.
Jasper Brinkley, the middle linebacker. And Ainge a little gimpy.
Yeah.
Good numbers, 20 of 28, 2 touchdowns, almost 250 yards passing.
You know, last week he struggled in the first half. 3 interceptions against Alabama, but played very well in the second half. 17 of 25. Led him on a touchdown drive at the end, and he has really been solid here in the second half tonight.
Second and goal. Foster, nowhere to go, taking it down near the 9-yard line. Casper Brinkley from the defensive end spot in the backfield in a heartbeat.
Casper Brinkley had 4 tackles behind the line of scrimmage last week against Vanderbilt. That's his second tonight.
Now, I think smart defensive players take advantage of a play like that. They know Ainge is not going to keep the ball in his hands, not the way he's limping. So it's got to be a run. Now Ainge will go to the shotgun on 3rd and goal. South Carolina's defense can hold. It would still be a 2-touchdown score game. Tight end, Brown, down to the 4-yard line. Or Cottom, rather. Hampton makes the tackle. And it will be 4th and goal. And here comes Tennessee's field goal team. So South Carolina would still have a chance down by 14 points if this field goal is good.
Time not on their side, though, as we're going to approach 5 minutes here. Tennessee smartly allowing that clock to get down as much as it can.
Not much more than an extra point, 21-yard field goal attempt. And it's 31-17. Tennessee extends its lead to 14. Just over 5 minutes to go from Columbia. College football lives here.
That's a big game. Of course, the marquee game in the Big East is a few days later, Thursday night. West Virginia undefeated at undefeated Louisville at Papa John's Stadium. That'll be a hugely significant game.
Line drive kick.
Well, their kickoff return is bad.
Carlos Thomas ended up falling on it at the 4-yard line. How about that, Reese?
Not good special teams play. Here is Florida State.
Jeez.
Oh, my. Fear the turtle.
They're going to be a little restless in Tallahassee, aren't they?
A little more, you mean.
Yeah, a little more. Newton just had to get rid of it, gets it out. to Corey Boyd.
David Cutcliffe and Philip Fulmer have to be thinking of for Eric Ainge. I mean, Tennessee has a big ball game next week at home against LSU, a very physical defensive football team. May not see any more of Eric Ainge tonight. I don't know.
South Carolina needs a touchdown. They need it in a hurry. Newton faked the slide, got out to the 40-yard line.
And there's no way South Carolina would have been in the position that they've been in coming into this game without him, because he makes a bunch of plays with his athleticism, his guts, toughness, and his arm.
Newton throws this one underneath to McKinley. McKinley trying to work this way, looking for an extra block, and got it down to the 43. If you're a blocker, you start drooling about 5 seconds before that hit. Just knowing you can unload on somebody. Newton trying to buy time. Now he takes off. 13 carries, 84 yards for the senior from Wallace, South Carolina. Newton again throws incomplete. Threw that into traffic. Intended for Mo Brown. Covered very well by Morley. And Mitchell was putting the pressure on him.
I'll guarantee you one thing, Savell Newton, I bet he sleeps well on Saturday night, because he gets his money's worth out here. Running around, throwing his body around.
Clock down to 3 minutes and 49 seconds. Screen, Boyd. Runs into his own man, stays on his feet. Boyd inside the 5, down to the 3. They'll mark it at the 2, 1st and goal. Newton for the corner, tipped and incomplete. Good job by Antoine Stewart. He was covering Sidney Rice. Wasn't much air under that throw.
We want to throw that up in the air for Sidney. He's 6'4", give him a chance to jump, which he did.
Didn't he watch, that wasn't a fade, but didn't he watch Game Day when you demonstrated how to throw that thing?
That's a little different route there, but he gave him a chance. You like that, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
I just want to make sure I didn't run Desmond off the side of that field.
Movement up front. Looks like that's going to go against Thomas Coleman. Or here.
Right.
And then either go for an onside kick or kick it deep and hope the defense can make a stand with 2 timeouts and get the ball back.
Double pass.
Rice in trouble, dives, got down inside.
Should have dove out of bounds.
The 2-yard line.
Should have dove out of bounds. Or he tried to get to the end zone, but by not getting out of bounds, they either have to use a timeout or they're going to lose a lot of time getting up to this next play. This was supposed to be a double pass. It was thrown behind the line, but Rice did the smart thing in not throwing it, but he could have helped his team by diving out of bounds at the end of the play.
3rd and goal, burning precious seconds here. And a flag goes down. Needs to be more of a sense of urgency in that situation.
I don't know if the numbers really
are that, but it feels like we've had a lot of penalties in this game.
It does, doesn't it?
I mean, I don't know if we have actually had a lot, but
There's no foul on the play. Still second down. Correction, third down.
well, what about the time that went off the clock? I mean,
Well, I don't think they'll restart it until now they're going to run it.
Boy.
And South Carolina can't. Newton was not ready for that snap. And they're very lucky. Point will make it a 7-point lead. Now here's today's Good Hands flashback presented by Allstate. Last season, Steve Spurrier came back to...
But that was a huge win for South Carolina.
All right, what do you do here? 2 timeouts left. Do you kick it deep and try to hold them?
I think you might have to go with an onside kick here. I mean, I know you got the 2 timeouts. If they would have been able to stop the clock right there and maybe stayed above 3 minutes before they score, then I think maybe you take the chance and kick it. At this point, I think you almost have to go for an onside kick.
And Tennessee thinking the same way. They're lined up. They have 9 players, 10 players now within that 10-yard limit. The clock here will start as soon as the ball is kicked, not when it's touched by the receiving team. Picked up by Smith. So they had the Good Hands team in there. Let's go to Reese.
4.
All right, Reese, thanks very much. 35-31. All right, South Carolina still with the 2 timeouts.
Range is out.
They're going to give it to Hardesty. And obviously still gimpy on that ankle, and Jonathan Crompton is in at quarterback. He's a freshman. And timeout South Carolina. They stop it at the 2-minute mark. Crompton, a North Carolina product.
Eric's ankle must really be bothering him because, I mean, at this point, you've got to secure the snap because you just can't afford for something goofy to happen. You've got the game, and you want to make South Carolina burn their timeouts, but that means securing the snap, making a good solid handoff. And instead of Eric Ainge right now, your starter, you've got freshman Jonathan Crompton in to do that. So Ainge's ankle obviously not great right now.
Crompton has only thrown the ball 4 times this year. They've all been complete. He's run it 3 times for 7 yards. So he has had very little action.
And the biggest thing that Crompton has to do if he's coming back in is the first thing, he must make sure that he keeps his hands in there with Josh McNeil and gets a good clean snap. Now, if I'm South Carolina, I take my strongest defensive lineman and I put him right over the center and I try to disrupt that timing and the snap of the quarterback to see if we can knock the ball loose, because the only chance South Carolina has right now is if they can get a turnover.
They've got Doty on the nose right now. Crompton changing the play, and the coaching staff on the sideline didn't like the way that
would
worked.
He be changing the play?
That's what they want to ask him. They just took a timeout.
Run it.
As soon as he turned around to change the play, the coaching staff, almost as a group, sprinted toward midfield.
Eric Ainge wants in the game. He's got his chin straps buckled. And he doesn't look like a guy that doesn't want to be in right now. Now, I understand that this is probably the game plan. If they give us this look, let's run this. But in this situation of the field, just run the play. Make South Carolina burn up their timeouts. I think Ainge might be coming back in now. I don't know.
Might be. Doesn't look like whatever argument it was that Crompton's winning it. Let's go to Holly.
Guys, Eric Ainge is trying to talk his way back in this game, and he may have just been successful with Philip Fulmer. He's got his headgear buckled. Nope, they're going to put Crompton back out there, guys. Eric is trying to get back in this game. He's worried about the mistakes that the freshman quarterback's making, but he is in quite a bit of pain. When he drops back on that ankle, he's wincing. He's got a problem that he's not going to get back in right now, guys.
Well, I can't see him throwing the ball in this situation. Can you?
No.
Hardesty hit at the line, still drives his way forward to the 45. Now the clock will run. Last timeout called by South Carolina. So after the third down play, there's no way to stop it for them anymore.
Well, one of the big discussion points now with USC losing today will be, will the winner of the West Virginia-Louisville game, if that team stays undefeated, be able to hold off a one-loss team from a conference like the SEC? Of course, Texas, a one-loss team, but several teams from this conference, the SEC, Tennessee, down each other again in the SEC championship game in Atlanta.
Yep. This one's not over yet. 3rd and 10. Crompton at quarterback. Hardesty dropped it to 41, and now they will squeeze every second they can out of this clock. Be a 25-second clock. As soon as the ball's marked ready for play, it will start to run. And now the officials are going to stop it for an injury.
The other thing that South Carolina has to be aware of, with no timeouts left, is that when the ball changes possession, the clock will start again on the ready. Right now, it'll be 1:12 at the least that South Carolina will get the ball.
Bennett's having cramp problems again.
Be wise to let that 25-second clock go all the way down before they punt the football.
If they can make sure they get all 25 seconds out of it and take the penalty and back it up 5 yards, that's not going to hurt the punting game. And if you're South Carolina, you have to decide if you're going to come after the kicker or you're going to drop back for the return. It's 31-24 with 1:13 to go. Both of these teams are in the SEC East, as is Florida. The Gators beat Georgia in Jacksonville today. They have one loss. Tennessee has one loss, but that was to Florida, so they lose on the tiebreaker. South Carolina has 2 losses, but if they would win this game and next week against Arkansas, they would be the team controlling its own destiny. SportsCenter will follow our broadcast when we're done here. Of course, we're only one play away from overtime. Have to be a heck of a play, wouldn't it? Colquitt will come on to kick. Let's see if South Carolina tries to come after them. McKinley is back at his 10. Colquitt gets it out of there and hangs it beautifully high. Fair catch made at the 9. So Savell Newton 91 yards away from a tie ball game. And 1:06 to do it with no timeouts.
And again, they've got to get out and get lined up, because as soon as this ball is marked ready for play, the clock will start. The new timing rules in college football, and they have no timeouts, so they have to maximize all of their time. And already they've lost a little because they had a late player joining the formation, Noah Whiteside.
Steve Spurrier has always had magic against Tennessee. He'll need all of it he can get right now. Rice stays in bounds. They've got to hustle.
Boy, that's a costly play there. If it's the first down, at least stops the clock long enough to move the chains.
Well, the official standing right on top of that ball. They can't even get to it.
Yeah, Savell Newton's mad that it took so long to be able to get the snap to spike it. Tennessee was hanging out around the football, and they weren't able to
He's
get
got a
him
good
away.
argument.
Yes, he does.
Because the official, the only time he's really going to stop it there, stand over it, is when the chains are moved. And the chains did not have to move on that. So Tennessee got a little break from the clock. That one's batted down and caught by an offensive lineman. And this will bring up a fourth down. The clock is going to run. They're going to try to unpile him. Newton is trying to call a play here and line everybody up. All up to Newton. Throws a jump ball downfield, and it's intercepted. And that will do it. Demetrius Morley took a desperation pass from Newton and made the catch. And South Carolina certainly did not manage the last minute of time that they had on that clock very well. Tennessee, a winner, 31-24. Sports Center coming up next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Good night from Columbia.
Ahead on SportsCenter, the passing of a legend. Red Auerbach, the NBA pioneer who led the Boston Celtics to 9 NBA championships as a coach, 7 more as an executive. Dead Saturday at the age of 89.